Came about, and as I was watching the tape on both men, Saturdays are known for slugging. We will see if that comes to fruition.
Is that real, or is that something you just made up?
I think it's a well-known thing. That's why prize fights are on Saturdays.
Saturdays are known for slugging.
Saturdays are known for slugging. Yeah, that's right.
All right, well, I'm not going to rush him. I'm not going to rush him.
Well, Lozada is certainly one that likes to slug because he has a high punch output, 95 punches that he averages per round. So he certainly is no stranger to wanting to mix it up. Fortuna a little bit more selective, but also can go ahead, and when he gets going, he could be problematic.
Yeah, Fortuna's more selective, and he almost fights in spurts. It's like he'll come out of nowhere with 3 or 4 or 5 punch combinations sometimes.
There's a right hook that connected. And be aware of that. And, you know, when I was looking at Fortuna's right hook at the southpaw, he reminds me a little bit, and I'm not going to, you know, just a little bit of comparison to Manny Pacquiao. And I know Pacquiao is in a whole another world, but the way he's zipping in the downward motion, it reminds me of that.
I feel you, Ray. You always got to be careful with what names you put next to each other. But Fortuna, he likes to wing that right hook, and he leads with it sometimes, and not a lot of guys are expecting that because it's not normally a lead punch.
For Fortuna, he's coming off of a layoff of a year and 20 days. There's a straight left, a right hook that connected. He's done Lozada. Lozada is hurt. He has his back on the ropes. Fortuna unloading big shots for Fortuna. He's going right on the offensive.
Lozada, he still's got his wits about him. He's dipping down. He's trying to cover up.
Lozada's in a world of trouble eating a bevy of punches from Fortuna. Oh, there's a straight left. Down goes Lozada.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You want to continue?
Lozada is known to have a strong chin. He demonstrated that against Felix Verdejo, but so far he has been unable to stand up to the power of Fortuna.
Fortuna wings his shots.
Let his head go. Let his head go.
Punches that guys are normally ready for.
Let his head go.
Wide enough and long enough to hit Lozada.
As we approach 40 seconds to go, Lozada has been on the canvas once already. He's been lit up by big power shots from Fortuna.
A lot of power when you throw your punches with a hooking motion. And that's what Fortuna's going with. He knows that those almost overhand lefts and rights are the punches to really hurt Lozada right now.
Well, there's a cut above the right eye.
But I didn't see any punch. Time in. Box.
There's a cut above the right eye of Javier Fortuna. That could be problematic and something we will keep our eye on. There's a right hook for Fortuna.
Stop.
Final moments of the first.
Stop. When I say stop, stop.
Javier Fortuna starting strong here in our opening stanza. My goodness.
Here it is right here, big overhand left, and then another big overhand right. They're looping shots, but they're big and wide, and it's bringing a lot of power behind them. And even right here, he's going to let his hands go with the hopes that he could touch him and knock him down. Right here, the open part of the glove is what landed right there, and that's what got me. I think that's why Lozada went down right there. It's a big punch, a lot of power behind it, but it's the open hand, I think, that lands, which really has the effect on Lozada to take him down.
Sean, Fortuna landed 17 punches and scored the knockdown before Lozada landed 3 punches. So talk about overwhelming his opponent. Also, Mike Rodriguez working on the cut. Mike is a quality cut man, and that's the man that you want to have in your corner taking care of your cuts. You know that quite well.
Absolutely. I've had Mike in my corner a ton. I think Lozada right now, I think he started slow. I think his jab hand was slow, and also both hands were down a little low, and I think that's why Fortuna has so much success.
He just seems to have been caught off guard, and that's a complete antithesis for what Lozada is about. Typically, he's a fast starter that fades down the stretch. He did that in his loss at the hands of Jose Pedraza.
Yeah, I was surprised to see him come out as slow as he did, and even in this round, I think he's got his wits about him now, and I think he's ready to go to work.
Well, he is facing an uphill climb against Javier Fortuna. He is 1 year younger than Fortuna. Both men have been in the sport for over a decade. Fortuna nearing 12 years as a pro, 14 years plus for Lozada.
I think Lozada's giving him too much space, and along with that space, I mean, he's a long guy, so he needs to space himself. But along with that, he's allowing Fortuna to calculate and figure out what he wants to do.
Well, he's not allowing, or he's making and giving up a lot of real estate in that ring.
Yeah. Yeah, you got a taller guy with long arms like that. Catch your guy coming in, take a step back opposed to moving forward to create that space once the guy closes the distance. But right now, he's not ready for what Fortuna's bringing.
Are you surprised? Because I sure am, Sean, in terms of how he's doubting himself as Lozada. He's typically a come-forward fighter, pressure. We're not seeing that in the first round and plus.
Yeah, we didn't see that in the first round. Early on, I didn't understand it. Obviously, after the knockdown, it makes sense that he can't be as aggressive as we expected. But now, in the second round, I still don't know why he hasn't put his foot on the gas pedal.
He is reluctant to throw, but he has tasted the power of Javier Fortuna. And Fortuna, when we asked him about the height difference, he said, look, I fought taller guys my entire career. That doesn't bother me one iota.
Yeah, I feel him on that, man. I think a lot of times people make too much of the height. And I think that if you're a guy like Fortuna who can explode on your guys and basically you're so fast that they aren't ready for what you can deliver, then the height's no problem. And right now it's proven to be no problem for Fortuna.
Fortuna coming on the inside as they both are in close. I believe this is the third trainer for Javier Fortuna, as he had a former trainer of Sergio Martinez years ago, and then Hector Bermudez as well from Boston. Now he's been with Belvin Garcia for the past few fights.
And he did his last camp down in Puerto Rico too, so he's been all over the place, but he's had success with every coach that he's been with.
Yeah, the trainer that I was thinking of Sergio Martinez, Pablo Sarmiento. That's the Samson Lukowicz connection, as Lukowicz is the promoter of Martinez and also Fortuna.
Interesting enough, because Fortuna could be that 130-pound
35-pound champion.
Yeah.
He's looking to get.
But he could be that Sergio Martinez. Yeah.
As round two draws to a close.
I'd like to see more of this from Lozada. Be more aggressive and let your hands fly. He's got to wake up.
And Fortuna says, yeah, okay. Is that all you got? But here's the left from Fortuna. Boom.
Another big left from Fortuna. You see the wide shots. He never saw that coming until it was too late.
With more on Javier Fortuna, here is Jordan Plant.
Thank you, Ray. High risk, low reward is, I think, what some fighters in Javier Fortuna's weight class may see him as, but they just won't admit, because he has a style that gives a lot of different looks. And get this, remember when we asked him for a prediction for the fight? He said, I'm going to go in there like a bumblebee. And guys, what does a bumblebee do? They zip around you, stinging and frustrating you. And those are Fortuna's intentions tonight when he's facing Lozada. I mean, he's taking angles, he's throwing looping shots, he already scored a knockdown, he's frustrating him. He's coming here to frustrate and stop Lozada.
Thank you very much, Jordan. Well, it's the third straight fight that Fortuna has scored a knockdown, so the power is clearly evident for the Dominican Republic native.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that everybody hides behind, that high risk, low reward. With Fortuna, you're getting a great fight, you're getting challenged, and you have an opportunity to beat somebody who's a legitimate fighter.
Well, numerically, Fortuna has landed nearly 50% of his power punches, 31 connected out of 64 thrown. Fortuna goes to the body, a right hook, and then a thudding straight left. And down goes Lozada.
No knockdown. Trip. Watch your feet,
says Gerard White. And that happens because Fortuna is a southpaw, conventional as Lozada.
Yep, that's how that goes. We see that time and time again. The feet are going to get crossed up. The elbows are going to clash. The knees are going to clash. Hopefully the heads don't. But along the way, it's going to be rough for both guys. Even right here, we see the legs a little twisted up.
Well, Fortuna is bedeviling Lozada with his in-and-out style and how he changes his levels as well, Sean.
It's tough to defend, and then it's also tough to figure out when you want to use your offense, because you got a guy who's in and out. And even though Fortuna's not using the entire ring, he's very quick, very mobile with his feet. 1 minute he's out, the next minute he's in, and it's hard to gauge where a guy's going to be.
both men stylistically are unorthodox as well. Fortuna is a southpaw, but he darts in and out, uses a variety of different angles. And when it comes to the actual book of boxing, so to speak, he does things that are unorthodox.
Yeah, he's a very unorthodox boxer. We spoke on it a little bit ago. Jordan just mentioned it. Makes a lot of guys frustrated. A lot of guys don't want to deal with that, let alone handle it. Lozado's catching him coming in. He's just got to be more active with his hands, especially when Fortuna tries to come in. See a straight left to the body, then back up to the head. He's up and down. When you're changing levels like that, it's hard to defend. And again, it's hard to be offensive too.
Under a minute to go here in the third round. Javier Fortuna in Lozada gets cracked with the right hook.
He threw a double jab. I'm like, good. And then he stands right there and gets hit with the counter left hook, with a counter right hook.
Well, he has typically one speed, and that's a come forward style. And when you are hesitant, you pay dearly for that.
Yeah, when you're hesitant, you pay. You said it, because what he's going to do is he's going to almost stop in his tracks and be right there in the line of fire, which is what he's been doing now for going on 3 rounds.
The one item I hear about being a prize fighter is movement, movement, movement. Lozada has been standing still and almost is a stationary target.
I mean, that's the thing with boxing. I mean, you're either offense or your defense. You have to be able to do both very well. And when you're not using your defense, you're just standing there, you're going to get hit with everything.
There's a straight left that caught the attention of Lozada. And this was the slip, Sean, if you want to further expound upon.
Yeah, right here we'll see. So one guy wants to get his foot on the outside, but when he does that, Lozado's natural movement is to move to his left. His foot is caught on the inside, so when he tries to turn left, he's got nowhere to go and he falls down.
And I think
that's what happens.
The power clearly was impactful for Fortuna, especially in his last fight. This was back over a year ago at MGM National Harbor. The first round, Fortuna went and put down Jesus Queixada. Before this victory for Fortuna, he would go ahead and stop Jesus Queixada in the second round. Fortuna become the fastest guy to stop Queixada. Gervonta Davis did it, but in 3 rounds, so Fortuna did it a round earlier.
Yeah, and it's a testament to who he is as a fighter. Not only is he throwing with a lot of power, but he's throwing with a lot of punches. So he's throwing power in combination, and it's hard to stand up to.
And the cut seems to have been put under control for Javier Fortuna. Round 4. This one is scheduled for 10. Ray Flores, Showtime, Sean Porter, Jordan Plan here at Staples Center in Los Angeles. Our main event, Javier Fortuna, Antonio Lozada. And now Lozada is starting more aggressive compared to what we've seen in the first 3 stanzas.
More aggressive, but I'm telling you right now, Ray, he does not have enough hand speed to contend with Javier
Fortuna. Are you surprised that he isn't imposing his body upon Fortuna?
Headbutt.
Well, right there you see, that's typically what's probably going to happen is you got a tall guy who's going to come down to get close, and you'll get a head clash.
There's a little bit of a mouse above the left eye as we go ahead and see that in the picture-in-picture. But Fortuna ripping away at Lozada. Now he's driving him to the perimeter of the ring.
Even funnier is you see earlier, you have a guy in the leg who gets hit with a head clash, and he's very bothered by it. Javier's not bothered by it. Neither is Lozada, but Javier almost bites it because he knows that it's going to bother his opponents.
And
he's saying, let's go.
He goes, yeah, come on, bring the fight.
I say break, let him go. Take a step back.
Sometimes
I say break, let him go. Take a step back.
The best ones are those that we don't mention, but just over a minute to go. Well, I tell you what, Fortuna has been really unloading upon the body of Lozada, taking a page out of Jose Pedraza.
Yep, it's a good work rate by Fortuna, and also good punch selection, going to the head and the body, changing the levels. He's in and he's out. He's doing what I expected him to do tonight in terms of being unpredictable in his offense and defense.
Well, he has him stymied and befuddled with he's going to the body, then he comes upstairs, then he throws a right hook. So he's showcasing his arsenal of punches.
Or even right there, you see both hands are down, and there's some feints, and so it's like he keeps his guy guessing. and Lozado's guessing wrong.
Coming up on a minute to go in the fourth round.
Now he's down low, changing his level again.
I'll say that it's a difference in mentalities. Fortuna seems to be a lot more confident. He's aggressive. He knows he belongs here. And he's showcasing that Lozada is inferior to him.
Yeah, and I mean, he's had the most success tonight offensively. He's been able to hit his guy and make his guy miss. And when you do that builds your confidence in the fight. And then that's when the hands start to go low and you start to find your rhythm.
Now even say, Sean, and he just rips a right hook upstairs and continues to hammer away upon the body of Lozada. But in the previous round with the trip, I saw a right to the body before that trip. Lozada might have gotten lucky because it looked like that body punch affected him.
And it very well has, especially when you're pulling back. That's when your core is not as engaged and you're susceptible to body shots hurting.
Antonio Lozada has been fighting for over 14 years, but right now he's in for a difficult fight and punching after the bell sounds for Fortuna.
Punching after the bell. I mean, we expected everything from Fortuna. Punching after the bell, punching when the guy's not expecting them. Barrages of punches.
Some extracurriculars, and Lozada looks at him. Oh boy. We'll see if he could do something in the fifth round.
It's a fight. You got to be able to hit your guy, you know? I appreciate the scowl. I appreciate the willingness to want to fight, but get out there and do it.
Two of boxing's top fighters collide in a title bout years in the making. Undefeated Errol, the Truth Spence Jr. takes on Danny Swift Garcia Saturday, December 5 on pay-per-view. Buy now at foxsports.com/PPV and watch on any screen that you want. Boy, oh boy, 14 days away. Cannot wait to be back at AT&T Stadium.
It's almost here. This is one of the big fights that everybody's been wanting for years now.
As we get ready to enter the fifth round, we want to wish all of you a very happy early Thanksgiving. Also, happy birthday to my mom out there that's watching in the Chicago area.
There you go. You're a good son, man. My mom always like, say hi to me. I'm like, I don't got time. I got to do my job.
Well, Javier Fortuna is looking to do his job tonight and showcase why he is one of the best lightweights in the world. He's been mentioning, he said that the fight with Luke Campbell was supposed to happen in April. That fight got delayed because of COVID-19. Then he had a fight scheduled against Jorge Linares at the end of August. Linares tested positive for COVID-19. During our fighter meetings, Fortuna would go ahead and said, look, I saw Linares out and about a few weeks later. I don't believe he had COVID-19. Now, I'm not a doctor. We're literally just exclaiming what we heard from Fortuna's mouth.
Yeah, it's funny. You're like, man, I saw him out. He doesn't have it. Well, hey, at any rate, things have been simmering for Fortuna for some time now, and now he's letting it all out.
Watch your hands. Accidental headbutt. No injury. Box.
And another clash of heads. Hopefully that is not problematic. But I will say that we are over round number 4. So if a fight is stopped due to an accidental clash of heads, they will go to the scorecard. So that's why even more so, Sean, that every round is so significant.
Yep, every round is significant. When you get to this level, it's not just about winning the fight. You got to win rounds. That's how you win the fight. Guys have to set pace. They have to control the action, control the ring, and that's what Fortuna's doing.
Well, Fortuna, at least through the first 4 rounds, he is outlanding Lozada to the body 18-3. So it is clear who is the more selective fighter when it comes to throwing his punches.
I like how comfortable Fortuna is right now. He's talking to Lozada. He's saying, let's go, come on. He's baiting Lozada in, and he's punching and moving.
After dealing with a layoff of a year and 20 days, a career-long layoff, I am mightily impressed by Javier Fortuna.
Yeah, and it's no secret I don't believe in layoffs and ring rust and things like that. But like I said about Fortuna, he's been simmering. He's been wanting these big fights, and he wasn't able to get it with this one, but he's not taking any chances with this fight. He's going in there giving it all he got. and he's won some big after this.
And Sean, this could be considered, quote-unquote, a trap fight. When you are top 5 of the world and you could be in line for a title shot, this is a stay busy fight that could be problematic. For Fortuna, it has been the complete opposite.
Yeah, it's been the opposite, but a lot like me back in August when I fought, I knew what I was up against, and I got ready for it. You know, I think that Fortuna, he knew that Lozada would be a tough fighter. And even in that first round, it was about landing big bombs. And then now he's just controlling the fight.
Well, and speaking of the first round 5 draws to a close, but let's go back and take a look at that strong start for the man known as El Albejon.
Yeah, they both started kind of slow, and I said, I'm not going to rush him. But once he let loose, he was going. Big left hooks, big right hooks, and he stayed on top of Lozada until he dropped him. Right here is the barrage of punches that I talked about early on in the fight. He's going to do that periodically just to keep his opponent honest. And then right there was the big left hand that dropped Lozada. It was inside of the glove, but hey, anything's game. It's a fight.
Well, that was the second time in 3 fights that Lozada has been on the canvas. Lozada has entered this fight averaging 88 punches per round, but through the first 3 rounds, he's been only averaging less than half of that, 42 punches. So the offense of Fortuna is confusing Lozada.
Yeah, it's the offense and also the movement. He's using the ring, which we all expected him to do. And he's changing his levels. Sometimes he's using the ring and he's a lot higher bouncing, and then sometimes he's a lot lower and almost like he wants to get on the inside, and it's making him unpredictable as to where he'll be.
Sean, the way I look at this fight is that this is almost a reintroduction to American audiences to Javier Fortuna. I think he gets overlooked sometimes based on the bigger names that generate the economic impact on the sport, but he is a tremendous fighter as Javier Fortuna.
Yeah, no, it's no secret that he's one of the contenders at the weight class, but I think that recently he has been overlooked and overshadowed by some of the bigger names.
We'll look at that in between rounds. Javier Fortuna, who is 31 years of age. He has won 2 straight. He defeated Sharif Bogheri last February at Dignity Health Sports Park, 15 minutes away from here in Carson, and then followed it up with a 2-round demolition of Jesus Queixad last November here on FS1. For Antonio Lozada Jr., he's 0-2-1 since his victory over Felix Verdejo back in March of 2018. And Sean, here's how you have it scored thus far.
They're gonna show it. I got Fortuna pitching the shutout. The first round was a 10-8 round, of course, because of the knockdown. But other than that, Fortuna's had a rhythm from the opening bell, and he's basically making Lozada respond to everything that he's doing. Lozada's not taking control at all.
Coming up on the midway point of the 6th round, Javier Fortuna's only losses coming at the hands of Jason Sosa when he relinquished his super featherweight crown, and then a split decision loss against Robert Easter Jr. over nearly 3 years ago in January of 2018. That was a world title shot. Fortuna missed weight and wasn't able to challenge for the title, but he felt he got the victory. A big straight left for Fortuna.
Big straight left right there. I got to wonder, though, is he starting to feel some fatigue? The hands are down more movement, less punches. I don't know if he's pacing himself or if he really is feeling fatigued right now.
Now he's driving a big right hook.
Big right.
Smacking the sweat off of Lozada. Lozada eats a couple of big power shots. Gerard White watching it. Oh my goodness, Lozada is in some trouble as Fortuna applies the pressure.
Oh man, worst thing that can happen right now is you do all that work and you don't get the knockout or the knockdown. You don't get the referee to step in the way you expect him to.
Fortuna bombing away on Lozada, and this one is over. Javier Fortuna with a one-sided destruction over Antonio Lozada Jr.
Yeah, that was good stuff right there.
Well, he proved why he might be the boogeyman at 135. Teofimo Lopez, Gervonta Davis. My goodness, Devin Haney, sign me up. I'd like to see him against either one of those 3 champions.
I'm telling you, a lot like me, it may not always be pretty. It may not always be eye-catching. He doesn't have the eye candy, but he's going to get the job done. Big straight left right there. I think the ref was like, yeah, no, that's it. Lozada was trying to fight back. He was trying to hold and do the things that a professional would do in that type of situation. But it was just too much. Fortuna's that kind of guy that he's not going to let off. And his work rate, it catches a lot of guys by surprise, and that's what makes him the boogeyman in the division.
Lozada is one tough customer, and Javier Fortuna made him look inferior. What a performance. There was no sign of ring rust whatsoever from Fortuna.
No ring rust. I didn't see any. I think the only thing I did question was where his conditioning was at this point, because in the beginning of the 6th round, he was doing more movement and also getting caught a lot more than he was in the early part of the fight.
We'll come back and make it all official from Staples Center here in Los Angeles. Back here at Staples Center, Javier Fortuna decimated Antonio Lozada Jr., Sean.
Nice word, decimated. Big punches, man, big rights and big lefts. The thing about Javier Fortuna is he throws punches from all angles, and it's really hard to see what's coming and when it's coming. Right there was just a simple straight left that really connected, and that's what gave the ref the indication that it was enough, and Lozada needed to stop.
Talk about punches and bunches. Here's one more examination on it.
Big straight left right there. I liked out of all of the big looping punches, he decided to go with one straight one, and that was the one that connected.
Let's take a look at the numbers from this matchup.
Yeah, out punching and outlanding outlanding Lozada was Javier Fortuna, and high work rate is what we expected, and a lot of punches. That's basically what we got from him.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes at 2 minutes 34 seconds of the 6th round. For your winner by knockout, Javier El Abejon Fortuna. What a performance by Fortuna.